Coming to you live from Million Dollar Studios, Chris Speez,
a.k.a. the Justin Ellsworth of hosting.
And my special guest host this evening, Mr. Kyle King.
The cult of personality. Thank you for having... I'm so glad to finally be in here. I love the show. I've told you this so many times before. I love streaming. I love what you and Silky are doing. It's fantastic.
Of course it is. We're happy to have you here. Speez of the Benchmark Show on a Wednesday night, August the 7th, 2019, without the benchmark. So I am very happy to be joined by my special guest host. He is one half of the Heel Turn podcast. You can catch them on iTunes or on the web at sportsradio610.com. Mr. Kyle King here in the house, everybody. Glad to have you with us, sir.
Like I said, it's so nice to be here, and it was great. Like, I just got done doing an episode of the Heel Turn podcast. It was so nice of you to send over the helicopter to bring me to Million Dollar Studios.
We take care of our own. That's what we do.
I appreciate it. Like, nothing but the best from you guys, and I love it.
That ain't Silky, says Mac Diesel. Good of Mac Diesel to point that out early on.
It's true. We're different colors.
That's right. You know, that's right. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's perfectly fine.
Also, notice the Astros championship hat, unlike that bullshit New York Yankees cap he always wears.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. You got that going for you. Happy to have you with us here tonight. If it's your first time here on the program, we hope you will give us a follow here on Twitch. And if you'd like to chip into the cause, you could do so by dropping those bits or becoming a subscriber, I should say. All that information scrolling down there on the bottom. Or you can leave us a tip at the tip jar, tinyurl.com/SBTipjar, because as Silky is fond of saying,
these bills got to get paid.
These bills need to get paid. Indeed, they do. And of course, if you want to get on the phone lines, you can join us at 832-937-4559. If you want to get in on the conversation, that's 832-93-SILKY. And I'm not going to say it like Silky does. I can't.
I was practicing.
Okay, well, you give it your best shot. 832-937-4553 is the number to get in.
Or 832-93-SILKY!
832-93-SILKY. We're going to be talking SummerSlam weekend here on the program. Going to preview Saturday night's NXT Toronto card, as well as Sunday's biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. And it is a Wednesday, so in keeping with tradition, we will have the Benchmark Power Rankings. However, since Silky is not a part of the program, this week's Top 5 Wrestlers of the Week will be brought to you by Mr. Kyle King. Now, he's set a very high bar for himself. He's been talking about this shit all day on Twitter about how he's going to make the Benchmark Power Rankings relevant with his top 5 this week.
Look, when you're amazing, amazing things happen, okay? So I just know I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to light it the fuck up.
And he's humble, too. And that's why we love him.
Humble. That is one of the things I've always been told, is that I'm so humble as well. And yes, Bobaruski, I'm tall as fuck.
He is tall. I actually... Yeah, I had to raise the camera up for crying out loud. So shout out to you, Bobaruski, Alistair Fiend, Jody Mania, Mac Diesel. Alice, thank you for the host. Good to see all you guys slowly filing in here for the program tonight. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Now, you had just recently the 100th episode of the Heel Turn podcast.
We did.
You and B-Mac. And tonight, you recorded with a very special guest.
Yeah, we had Shane Taylor on, the Ring of Honor World Television Champion. He came on. He talked to us, previewed the Ring of Honor Summer Supercard that's going on. Let me just say this really quick. This is what I love. It's weekends like this that make me love being a wrestling fan, because on Friday night you have Ring of Honor's Summer Supercard in Toronto. On Saturday you've got NXT Toronto. And then on Sunday, of course, you got SummerSlam, all 16 hours of SummerSlam.
Exactly.
But this is what I love. Like, this is a type of weekend where we can enjoy. Like, there's no reason to sit here and not find something for you. Like, there's something in the wrestling world for you. If you don't like what's going on the main roster, you have 2 other shows happening this week that you can fall in love with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to you, Bill. Hi, Speez and the King. We were thinking about calling the show Speez and the King, but hey.
I mean, it sounds fine. It sounds fine to me.
You know, just for kicks, just because. But we can't do that to Silky. You know, he's a very sensitive guy, that Silky Bates.
By the way, I ate your cookies, Silky. When you watch this on the replay, I ate your cookies. All right? Take it, bitch.
King already coming strong.
That's what you do.
Here's the big news of the week. Of course, we recap Monday Night Raw every Monday night following Raw right here on the Speez and the Benchmark show. But last night, the word finally came through that we will have another comeback at SummerSlam this year. Actually, I guess that happened on Monday Night Raw because Silky was none too pleased about it. But, of course, Goldberg going to be taking on Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. What is everybody's thoughts on Goldberg returning to take on Dolph Ziggler?
I don't know what everybody in the chat's thoughts are going to be. I'm going to be very interested to read those, but I'm actually looking forward to it, man. Like, look, we know what we're going to get. Goldberg ain't going to go out there and have himself a 20-minute match against Dolph. It just ain't going to happen. No. Give me squash you, Goldberg, and let's move on, okay? Like, the way I look at this Goldberg return is kind of like Old Town Road, the song that won't get on country music, but it's everywhere these days. Like, if you don't like it, it'll be over in 2.5 minutes. Calm down.
Fuck this, says Barbaruski. I know Barbaruski's not going to be a fan of it. Yeah, Goldberg's one of those guys that he's there because he's an attraction.
Right.
He's that Brock Lesnar kind of guy. He's an attraction, and that's what you're getting into if you're getting yourself a Goldberg match. And you know, I can't fault WWE for doing this type of thing because, again, they don't do it very often. They're going to do it at WrestleMania. They're going to do it at SummerSlam. And it sure as hell going to do it in Saudi Arabia, as we've seen. Mm-hmm. As long as Goldberg is concussion-free this time, says Bill.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to have, like, a warning. Like, Vince is going to tell him, like, don't hit your head on shit. Like, just walk to the ring.
Don't concuss anybody else while you're at it.
Oh, for the love of God, please don't. Bret Hart says hello.
Yes,
by the way. But no, like, look, Goldberg's an attraction. You're right. And I have no problem with them bringing him on. I forget who it was. I want to say it was Marcus, MJK316 on Twitter, who had told me, he goes, what is it any more than just trying to get somebody on the card to get paid? One, I like when wrestlers get paid. I don't know about you guys, but I like when wrestlers get paid. Again, it's 2.5 minutes. You get vintage Goldberg. I don't want our last memory of Goldberg being a horrible Saudi match.
Yeah, that was terrible.
And look, for those of you who aren't interested in it, here's the good part to take away from it, you know? Goldberg has at least come out and admitted, yeah, that match sucked.
It was dog shit.
Right.
I got to redeem myself. Excuse my language, Mom. Mama Speez in the chat joining us, as she sometimes does.
Hi, Mama Speez.
Always a pleasure to have you here, ma'am. Goldberg needs to avoid doors at all costs, says Jody Mania. And Brock's 260-pound ass can last longer than Bill these days, says Barbaruski. By the way, folks, if you haven't done so already, if you would, share the program out there on the Twitters and all your other social media so everybody can hop in and join us. Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, look, I don't ever fault these guys for wanting to come back. You know, who am I to say, hey, you shouldn't be doing this anymore. You've passed your time. If Taker wants to go out there and do it, or Goldberg or any of these other guys, and Vince says okay, then more power to him. Let him go out there and do it.
And honestly, like, I'm going to ask you, who is he keeping off the card? Who is he keeping off?
I mean, nobody I can think of.
I mean, maybe the Good Brothers, which, by the way, I will get you to Too Sweet Me by the end of this.
Not too.
You are going to Too Sweet Me.
Of course, I'll Too Sweet You. You just got to pass. Are you a founding member of the NWO?
No, I'm.
No, I don't think. Are you a member of the Click?
Original
was
club
it the Click?
that matters. The only original club that matters.
Kill yourself.
No, absolutely. So we're not doing the fucking Too Sweet. So don't.
We're gonna Too Sweet.
Soil the program early on your first appearance here with that horse shit.
But look, really, the only people you're keeping off of the program is maybe that. Like, I don't think the New Day has a tag team match. I don't think the Good Brothers have a tag team match. And to be honest, they just won the titles. They have no feud going on. I wouldn't mind seeing them have a rematch against the Revival so they can kick the Revival's ass again.
But let's face it, far more people are going to want to watch. And look, I'm not talking about the hardcores here. I'm talking about your casual wrestling fans, your people that don't necessarily watch every show every week. A lot more of those people want to see Goldberg than want to see the Good Brothers or the Revival or the Usos or any of these other tag teams that we name. It's just... That's it. Yes, he did just double tap the. Kyle's a big fan of the sounder. That's what happens when people come to $1 Million Studios. They come here and they think it's all horseshit that we're just making it up. But no.
I love it. In fact,
you are a fucking jabroni piece of garbage.
See, he's got Iron Sheik. I mean, he just.
I love it, man. I love double tapping the sounders. I wish I had this at the radio station I work for. I don't have that. You have a better setup than I do over at the studios that I work at. But
that's okay.
Like I said, Goldberg's not keeping anybody off of this match. He's going to be out there for... Look, his entrance is going to last longer than his match.
Probably.
Okay? So give or take 10 minutes.
Let's say this, though. If he's in there with Dolph Ziggler,
okay,
one thing we know is Dolph Ziggler is going to make Goldberg look spectacular. Not that Goldberg needs it, but Dolph Ziggler sells his ass off, and he's going to make Goldberg look great.
How great would it be, though, if Ziggler gets this win?
I mean, it'd be something.
Like, like looking at the card, I haven't really seen any matches where I was like, you know what, like this will be a total shock. I could see him doing that. Like it kind of looks par for the course. But how cool would that be? I mean, like everybody would be talking. I would be interested to see all the people who are sitting there going like, "Oh, this Goldberg match is gonna suck," and then Ziggler goes over. I would be interested to see everybody's reaction after that.
Speaking of your boy MJK, he says the Goldberg match is to get up, get a beer, and take a piss match. So
that's fine. That's fine. But you know what? Again, like in wrestling, you can do that with almost anybody if you wanted. You know what I mean? Like you could sit there and go, "Oh, Becky and Natalya, time to go pee and get a pizza."
Yeah, I'm not really feeling that one either. Mac Diesel coming through with the bits. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Oh, did I turn the TTS back down to 1? I don't think I did, Alistair or Mac Diesel, so my apologies. Chris and Kyle are cool, but where the fuck is Silky? All right, Mac Diesel obviously didn't get the memo on the last program or the program before, and I should have said it at the beginning of the show, so it's my bad. Silky's shoe job has got him working on Wednesdays for the time being. So between now and October, when SmackDown starts on Friday night, and Speeds the Benchmark goes to its new schedule of Mondays after Raw and Fridays after SmackDown Live, in the meantime, in the interest of bringing you good people 2 shows a week, I will be having a special guest host each Wednesday night sitting next to me in the chair or joining me via satellite here in $1 Million Studios.
And until then, you got me, biatch.
The pyro will last longer than this match, but it will be good, says Bill. Dolph's going to be the HBK to Goldberg's Hogan. Now, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. So, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to complain about it. Let's go through this card and just talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk about the SummerSlam card first, and then we'll get to NXT a little bit later in the show. So, main event, I'm assuming it's going to be the main event. Obviously, we'll wait and see. Brock Lesnar against Seth Rollins.
I am not looking forward to that match. I just don't care now.
Tell me I'm not the only one, because I know you and B-Mac probably talk about this on Heel Turn as well. How far has Seth Rollins fallen in such a short period of time? I mean, people were apeshit nuts for Seth Rollins in April at WrestleMania when he finally beat Brock Lesnar. And since then, it seems like it's just been a snowball effect, just further and further downhill. And fewer people give a shit about Seth Rollins. And I never thought I would be saying that about Seth Rollins.
If you want to see how far WWE creative has fallen, just look at Seth Rollins. I mean, you brought it up. Yes, like April, everyone was hot for this guy. They wanted him back. They wanted him to be champion. And then all of a sudden they put them together. They sat there and went, I've got an idea. Let's make his relationship known. And let's not just put him in a relationship angle. Let's remind everybody about it for the next 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes we have to make a reference. They even made a stupid shirt that said the man's man.
Which was, don't even get me started on that ridiculous shit. That was horrible. I cannot believe that Seth Rollins was cool with that. That he was like, yeah, go ahead and make that shirt.
They took a character, like, this is also how bad he has fallen, and I'll get into this a little bit more later on, but they're now trying to desperately make him cool by putting him with the Street Profits. And what was his thing that he had to say? Put some stank on it. I don't know about you, but the last time that was actually funny was Liar Liar in the mid-90s. You know, like when Jim Carrey uttered it in a courtroom. Like,
I know that's been Stone Cold Steve Austin's critique of Kevin Owens using the stunner that needs to put a little more stank on it.
MJK, 3 months of having to wrestle Baron Corbin every night will do that. No, hold on. Don't sit there and hate on Baron Corbin. All right?
We are fans of Baron Corbin on this program, even when Silky's here.
Yeah, like, Corbin's actually not that bad.
He's really not.
I remember, so, you know, at the radio station, we get every now and then when WWE comes through town, they'll send wrestlers to come do interviews, this and that. So, you know, we get a good bit of people through there, and one of them was Baron Corbin. And I remember at the time he was feuding with Finn Balor.
Right. And that went on forever, it seemed like.
It did. I actually enjoyed that. Like, yes, it went on a little too long, but it was fine. But I remember talking to him, and he was very humble. He was very nice.
Oh, super guy.
And I was, and I remember telling him, I was like, hey, man, I know not a lot of people do, but I appreciate what you're doing with Finn. And he was like, and he literally sat there and looked at me, and he goes, we're doing the best we can with what we're being given.
Yeah.
Like, it was about as honest an answer as you can get. So I don't hold any of these guys accountable. Like, what is wrong with Baron Corbin? He's actually not terrible in the ring.
No, he's not at all. Especially not for a guy his size.
Right. And
he's crazy athletic. He gets the reaction he's supposed to get. You know, it's just, I get it. There are people that don't like him. That's fine.
His
his
gimmick is copying a Reno craps dealer. No, it's not.
It's a shit gimmick though. That is a shit gimmick. I'd rather he stuck with biker Corbin than what he's doing now.
I'm actually not gonna lie. I actually kind of like the way he dresses when he comes out. I think it's kind of cool.
Well, that's fine, but take that shit off and wear some actual wrestling trunks or something.
Well, he can't because then he would expose his sad torso.
His sad torso. Where the hell has Corbin been? Says Brian. Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he and somebody else who I was thinking of earlier that I can't think of now have been on vacation because we just haven't seen a lot of him.
It's all good.
Alice and Jody seem to think that Seth versus Brock is going to be the bathroom break match, and Bob Ruski says they're making Seth look like a P star.
Yeah.
So he's not ready for the main title picture, and I'm okay with that, Bob Ruski. That's
But
and at least they didn't put the belt on him.
Hold on. Here's my thing about that, though. Like, I get it. I get where you're coming from on that, of like he's not ready for the main event title. Look, I thought the same thing about Triple H back in the day. I remember when Triple H got his first shot, I remember sitting there going like, really? The DX guy, Intercontinental European Champion, like he's going to be your next guy?
Yeah.
But what'd they do? They gave him the belt, and then they put him...
And he took the ball and ran with it.
He did. He also had the likes of Mick Foley putting him over. And so, like, go back and watch the Triple H Mick Foley feud. It's awesome.
Oh, of course it is, yeah.
Their matches were drag-out fights, and it just gave credibility to Triple H as this badass. So while I agree, like, I get what you're saying with he's not ready for the title, I also think it has to do with who you're put up against as well.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Lacey Evans, thank you, Jody Mania, for bringing her up. She's the other one that's sort of disappeared.
I miss
her. And Brian says he and Lacey ran off to Reno to do a remake of Vegas Vacation. And Corbin is playing Cousin Eddie, whose shitter was full. So
all right. Well, fair enough.
Fair enough.
I miss Lacey Evans. I think she's fine.
I do.
She was definitely one that I was like, okay, she's not really ready for a main event title picture yet, but I thought it was good exposure for her.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, we've got the other title match, which several of you in the chat have said feels more like a main event. Kofi Kingston, your WWE champion, taking on Randy Orton. And I actually agree with that because some people kind of roll their eyes at Randy Orton these days, and I don't get it because, again, Randy Orton is a pro's pro. He goes out there, cuts great promos. He goes out there and does the job when he's supposed to do the job, which is way more often than not nowadays. All of you who complain about Randy Orton. I mean, that guy's put a lot of people over in recent years. I'm looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be good. I think Kofi Kingston, when he was a part of the New Day, and we talked about this on Monday, and I've tweeted about it this week, about how the New Day, to me, are just criminally underrated because they always bring it. And Kofi has been outstanding as WWE champ. As far as match quality, he's been great, and I don't have any reason to think that this one's going to be any different.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match as well, and I think WWE is shooting themselves in the foot if they don't put this as the main event. Like I'm seeing in the chat room right now, like Bob Ruski says, just the history of them is enough for the main event.
Exactly.
It is.
Exactly.
Like, there's better storytelling in Kofi Orton than there is Seth and Brock. And I think that's because we've seen it so much. And you have a redemption story in Kofi coming around this time. I said this on the Heel Turn podcast a while ago when we were doing our predictions. One of the matches I was given to predict was Kofi and Orton. And I said, look, I think Kofi's going to win. He's been booked very strong since he won.
As strong as anybody in the company,
right?
Without question.
I think he's only lost one match since he won the title. So he's been booked properly. He's been booked strong. But I would be genuinely upset. Or I'm sorry. I wouldn't be upset. I would be disappointed if you have Randy Orton go out and do the job for Jinder Mahal, but not return it to Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
Because Jinder, we all know, was because they were trying to break into India. So if they were to sit there and say, hey, we want you to do the job, because of a business decision that we're trying to break into this market, but we don't want you to do the job for somebody that's obviously earned it, that would piss me off.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, those pancakes are most definitely a health violation, the ones that Kofi has in his pants. So no, Brian, we would not eat those pancakes. Before we move on, MJK wants to know if you got any thoughts on the Twitter feud between Lacey and Alundra Blaze, which has been pretty catty. And, again, I don't have a problem with it. It's, more power to Lacey for just saying, I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm going to come strong every time. Thanks very much, Get the Tables, for the bits. Good to have you in here, Tone.
I'm just making money for you guys.
That's great. That's
You're
what
welcome.
you do. That's
You're
what you do.
welcome. Like, that's what I'm here to do. This is the moneymaker. Okay?
TLC, Captain Ron in the house as well. Welcome to you, sir. So, yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think that's going to be a great match. And
I like what TLC said, more in Big E than Kofi. And I agree. Like, I have been saying this for a while. I would love to see a feud happen between Kofi. Look at that. I got you a new subscriber.
There, I said it.
you're welcome, Bobaruski. Thank you very much. Get the tables for the gifted sub there.
Silky, you
That
might
is
be
awesome.
fired.
Thank you very, very much. We appreciate that. So Bobaruski can now use the angry Speez and smiling Silky emotes, which I'm sure he'll very much use in the chat.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah, I kind of lost my train. Oh, no. I was
E,
saying,
you want to see the Big E
I
singles
would love
run.
to see a Big E Kofi Kingston feud. Like, I would love there to be like a little bit of jealousy that kind of breaks them apart. You know, like think back to when Evolution split. Randy Orton got kicked out of the group because
Right.
Triple H was jealous that he had done this. So
I just think I'm one of those guys. I don't ever want to see the New Day break up. I just don't. I think they're so good, and the fact. Thank you very much, Bill, for the bits there, buddy. We appreciate that. Keep them coming, gang. I just think that the fact that they're still as over with the crowd as they are now, after so long, that it's just a testament to how good those guys are. And I still think that you have a chance to, like Big E and Xavier got behind Kofi when he had his singles run.
Right.
I don't think there's any reason why you can't see Big E be next in line. And he's the one that gets the singles run. And then Kofi, and thank you for the follow, MJK. Appreciate that. Big E and Xavier get behind, or excuse me, Kofi and Xavier get behind Big E's run.
See,
and so on.
I'm with Mr. AEW. I think they're getting a little stale. Like, I mean, it was fun when they were initially supposed to be heels, and then they gradually turned into these baby faces that you couldn't ignore anymore. Where do you go from them? Like, you've now like got them pretty much like if you look at wrestling, storytelling wise, as that roller coaster of emotions that it's supposed to be, they're pretty much just sitting right at the top now, waiting to drop down.
That's true. That's true.
How many times have we seen in the WWE to where WWE won't pull the trigger on something? Like, you could make an argument that the Shield actually broke up too quickly. You don't have that problem with the New Day. They've been around. They've been a unit.
Well, yeah, and that's true. When they do, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when they do, if they do, finally break up the New Day, that's a huge storyline.
For sure.
That's a WrestleMania storyline. You got to pay that off at Mania because that's going to be a huge, huge deal. Thank you for the host.
My only question though is what would Xavier do?
I mean, look, Xavier's no slouch either. I think Xavier gets, people talk about Kofi obviously because he's the champ. People say, okay, I want to see, Big E as well. There's no reason. I mean, I don't see Xavier as a top guy, like as a, competing for one of the big championships kind of guy. There's no reason that Xavier can't be a U.S. champ, can't be an Intercontinental champ, or at least competing for those titles. So it's not like he falls away into oblivion.
All I'm saying is I can just see, like, the reason why they wouldn't pull something like that, like, a dissension amongst the group is, okay, if you have Big E take on Kofi, and try to get him into the title picture, because he's won the IC championship and worked his way up. Again, you have those two working. Where does Xavier fit in? Does he go off and do his own thing? And I don't know. Like, I could see WWE being hesitant when it comes to that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And happy birthday to you, noob. Glad to have you with us here on your birthday, man. That's outstanding. Today's my birthday, and I do have my thoughts on the women's tag team title match on Raw. Not upset the Kabuki Warriors didn't win. Just upset that WWE messed up Nikki Cross's character. And I wouldn't stress too much about that, noob. And let's not spend too much time on this because we got a bunch of other matches to get through. But when Nikki Cross finally flips out and realizes that Alexa Bliss is just using her, and she's going to go back to Psycho Nikki Cross, and she's going to be great. So I think she's totally going to be fine. Would you keep the title on Kofi till Mania and have Big E win the Rumble, says Get the Tables?
That's a good question. Originally I had thought of, this is before apparently people are attempting to murder Roman Reigns on television. I thought it would be kind of cool to see a returning babyface Daniel Bryan finally win the Royal Rumble, something that he hadn't have. But I don't know where they're going to go. But in this situation, yeah, I think I would. I think that would be kind of cool, to see. Like, I could dig it.
One other WWE note to get to that is not a part of the SummerSlam card, but we did seemingly find out yesterday at the end of SmackDown Live, for those of you that missed it. It would appear as though when Roman Reigns confronted Buddy Murphy in the locker room, wanting to know who it was that was driving the car that almost ran him down on Raw, Buddy Murphy said the only guy that he saw there was Rowan. And Rowan and Daniel Bryan are standing in the ring after their main event match, which they won against the New Day. Actually, it was ended in a disqualification.
What
but
the fuck?
it would appear that Rowan, at least for now, is the guy that tried to run down Roman Reigns and apparently tried to throw equipment on top of him and kill him last week on Raw as well. Question for you, Kyle King. Is this the end of this little mystery whodunit, or is this just a little swerve to keep us interested and perhaps it's going to be paid off differently in the coming weeks?
I'm so fucking tired of this story.
And you and Silky both. It's been going on for like a week, and you're already tired of it. Come on, it's a whodunit in WWE. They do when they're done well, like the Aleister Black.
They're
one.
never done. Hold on.
The Aleister Black one was pretty cool.
Hold on. Vehicular manslaughter whodunits are never done well. Okay? Like, think about the last vehicular manslaughter we had with
He did
Stone
it for
Cold.
The Rock.
It was so dumb.
It
Like,
was. I'll give you that one.
And here's what's surprising about me with you. Because you're one of these traditionalist guys. Like, you don't like a lot of the flippy stuff. You come from the cornet, ideology, and that's fine. Whatever. That's cool.
It's a goddamn abortion.
It's not
and a
an abortion disgrace. Don't misuse that sounder, damn it.
I just like that sounder, actually. But you very much like stuff that keeps it kayfabe. Okay? Now, if you're sitting there and looking at a kayfabe world, this is where I have the problem with it. Okay? In the real world, if somebody attempted that shit last night, we wouldn't have a blow-off match for this. Somebody would be going to jail. Like, this is a legitimate crime. Somebody is trying to off Roman Reigns. Like, that's why I'm so tired of this story, and I hate the fact that you're putting Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan in the middle of it. It's fucking stupid.
It's not as stupid as McMahon getting blown up in a limo, as Jody Mania points out. So
that was that.
It's a goddamn abortion and a disgrace.
Everybody wants to see Nikki Cross as a maniac, and we will. Don't worry about that. And yes, it was a bit of a problem, Jody Mania, where they screwed up Kyrie's Twitter name and actually put Io Shirai's name.
Oh, that was bad.
Which was
bad look.
Which is not a good look, but
such a bad look.
It happens from time to time.
I'm just glad you got my name right on the title.
I'm telling you,
here.
and look,
that's what you should have done. Actually, you should have opened it up with me having Io Shirai.
Exactly. I'm just going to tell you from somebody who does this shit because, I was working on a title for Kyle before the show, and I can't tell you how many times, look, when you're doing the same thing week in and week out, I can't tell you how many times I go to double check the power rankings and I've got number 4 followed by number 4.
Yeah.
Because you look at it so many times and you go, okay, it's fine. And I guarantee you somebody back there was using one of the titles that they had.
Oh, TLC.
When Kairi Sane and Io Shirai were teaming in NXT, and they just pulled that one over and they put it in, they didn't change it.
Okay, I take back the kill yourself because he put according to Chris Tucker. But he was like really hitting a race car. I was like, wow.
That's Captain Ron. That's what he does. That's what he does in the program. So
that's fine.
Let's move on to...
I do want... Sorry, I keep pointing. I know for all of you, I'm sitting here pointing at a screen. Exactly. I do like Noob's point. Io Shirai as a heel is actually very awesome.
Yes, she is very awesome.
I'm very much enjoying her.
Without question.
Oh, it's so good.
Let's get to another returning legend at this year's SummerSlam, Trish Stratus, who made an appearance on Raw to basically stand in the ring and not get tagged into the tag team match, taking on Charlotte. You're looking forward to Charlotte Flair and Trish Stratus. This is kind of being touted as a dream matchup. Obviously, Trish hasn't been around in a while. Is not going to be the same performer that she was back in the day, but any interest there for Trish taking on Charlotte Flair?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we get excited for Goldberg coming back. We get excited for The Undertaker every time he shows up. Why can't we get excited for Trish Stratus? Look, the WWE has not had a great track record of the women. Again, there's the reason why we have the women's revolution going on.
Still, many years later.
They're still not doing a good job of it. Yeah. But, they did do some things right. Like Trish actually was a lot of fun watching her, when I was coming up watching wrestling. Because again, she started off as just the manager, the hot chick, and she turned into a decent wrestler. So I'm excited. And look, it's something for the hometown crowd.
Exactly.
And it does help Charlotte because I'm pretty sure she's going to kick the shit out of Trish.
I think it'll be fine. I did it for the planet, says AEW. That's what you get when you copy and paste, says Bill. Exactly. I'm telling you, Bill, it's exactly what it was.
I will say this, though. I again, was talking about this on the heel turn when we were predicting matches. I could see Trish beating Charlotte.
Maybe.
Because the
It
other
wouldn't surprise me.
Well, the other hometown hero ain't winning against Becky.
Natalya against Becky Lynch, yeah, for sure. Jody Mania can't wait to see Trish and Charlotte. I think it's going to be fun. It's not the same face from the Attitude Era, says Captain Ron. Okay, fine. Looking forward to a screwy finish when Liv Morgan gets back at Charlotte, which several people have brought up. But
you know what? I would love a Liz Morgan interference. Like, if you're going to do something like that, go ahead and give us somebody we haven't seen.
Yeah, Liv Morgan is somebody that could use, I mean, not necessarily use it, but at the same time,
she has a lot
elevates her to back into people's consciousness because she hasn't been around very much. And when she was a part of a tag team that never really went anywhere.
Yeah, they didn't do anything with it. But look, like she's a fan favorite in the locker room. Not a fan favorite, but I mean, she has her supporters in the locker room. They all seem to be pulling for her. Like, and that's the reason why I'm also like a Dana Brooke fan. I know. The chat's about to go crazy. I do.
That's Black Man's Kryptonite, Dana Brooke. So,
but you know what, Dana Brooke. Everything I've heard, she busts her ass in the Performance Center trying to make it work. Like, I appreciate people who do stuff like that. And Liv Morgan seems like one of those who busts her ass and and yes, MJK, she's hot.
Hey, look, I'm actually looking forward to that match more than I'm looking forward to the two women's title matches. You've got Becky Lynch taking on Natalya for the Raw Women's Championship and Bayley taking on Ember Moon for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Yeah, I mean, neither one of those matches, especially the Becky and Natalya match, just really doesn't do anything for me. And as much as I dig Ember Moon, and I'm a Bayley fan as well, it's just something's not there. You know, I mean, they're both kind of baby faces. You know, they're kind of trying to, in both matches, you can argue that they're both baby faces. They're trying to, force Natalya into this heel role, which seems very forced. Again, I can't think of a better word for it, but it's just, there's not a whole lot there, you know?
I'm not excited for either of these matches, although here's what I'm hoping. This is where I am excited. I'm hoping that Shayna Baszler drops the title to Mia Yim on NXT TakeOver, and I hope Shayna Baszler shows up on Raw, because I would love to see a Becky-Shayna Baszler confrontation, especially with Shayna coming in to be like, you know what? I'm going to come get some revenge for my friend Ronda.
No, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I'm a huge Shayna Baszler fan. We love
She's
Shayna
so
Baszler
good
here on the program.
I saw her when NXT just came through town this last time. She was on the card, and she took on Mia Yim. Great match.
Yeah, she's great. 832-937-4559 is the number to get in. Let's get to the phone lines here, where we've got our buddy Brian.
Oh, God.
And I would assume this is the other half of the Heel Turn podcast. B-Mac joining us here on the program. What's going on, Brian? How are you?
Guys, I'm just a little concerned about WWE continuity right now.
Okay.
I was watching the shows this week, and Roman Reigns, he got hit by the forklift, he got hit by a car, and then this morning I'm watching one of the shows, and I see Roman Reigns, and he's there with some guy named Hobbs, another guy named Shaw. I mean, Idris Elba was there for some reason.
Idris Elba was there for some reason.
Just hanging out,
Oh, goodness.
I know they're going to hire a script supervisor, but I don't know how, Idris Elba works into the forklift thing. But, I just thought it was odd that they wouldn't pay off that story,
Now, Brian, did you actually see the film Hobbs and Shaw? Did you actually check it out? Have you seen it in theaters yet?
Yeah, I actually saw it this morning. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah, exactly. Did you enjoy it? It's a total cheese fest, which you have to kind of expect with that kind of movie.
You know what? I did enjoy it. Actually, this I hope rings as a true endorsement, because I am as a movie-going fan, I am someone who's watched 0 Fast and the Furious films that they haven't appealed to me at all. But for some reason, this one just looked like it was going to be fun, and I thought it was a good, fun action flick, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is very good. So before we let you go here, because we haven't given Kyle a chance to do this, I've mentioned it briefly myself, but tell everybody where they can catch you and Kyle on the Heel Turn podcast on Twitter, where they can listen to the show. Go ahead and pimp that out here before we move on with the SummerSlam card here tonight.
Yeah, we're on Twitter at the Heel Turn Pod, at Kyle King on there, and I am at Sack by BMac. Catch us on Apple Podcasts, Radio.com app, and Sports Radio 610 every Wednesday.
I do like this. I love this comment. My favorite commenter on here, MJK, says, God, does BMac feel like Marty Jannetty to Kyle's HBK since he's on the Twitch and he's not?
Oh, come on now. That's what happens when you're not sitting here in the studio.
I'm just gonna, if I can, guys, real quick before I hang up, I just want to say,
oh, Jesus Christ. On that note, B-Mac, thank you very much for being with us. We're going to get you off the goddamn phone lines here. It was a Shane McMahon free program up to this point.
Hey, I would like some credit that I have not come in here with Shane McMahon bullshit.
You do get credit for that.
I mean, come on. I know all day I've been tweeting at you different gifs of Shane McMahon to celebrate this occasion, but I haven't done one Shane. And I'll even give you guys a peek behind the scenes. I'm in charge of these glorious power rankings you're about to have.
Well, speaking of that, I'm just going to interrupt you right there because we spoiler alert, all right? We don't want everything, getting spoiled here. But as we do every Wednesday here on the program, we bring you the top 5 wrestlers of the week, usually according to the benchmark Silky Baines, but as he is not here, Kyle King submitted his in a segment we like to call the Benchmark Power Rankings. Here we go. It is the Benchmark Power Rankings, the top 5 wrestlers of the week for the week of August the 4th, 2019. This week brought to you by our very special guest host, Mr. Kyle King. And as if getting to do the power rankings is not enough of a reward because, some pretty prestigious shit here.
It is.
To get to do the power rankings. I haven't even got to do the power rankings, and I'm the co-host of the fucking show. Kyle gets to come in and do the power rankings. So not only does he send in his power rankings, but he says, hey, Speez, I want to switch it up a little bit. We're going to add one more person to the power rankings. Instead of just the top 5 of the week, can you also add a number 100?
Yes.
So this week, we kick off the Benchmark Power Rankings, brought to you by Kyle King, with number 100 in the power rankings.
Seth freaking Rollins at number 100. Seth Rollins has fallen off so fucking much, it's ridiculous. And I'm fucking tired of it. Seth Rollins as the architect was the shit. He was awesome. When he was on the shelf and he came back and Roman was going to get the title and he dropped him at the, I forget which pay-per-view it was, but I think it was Clash of Champions or something. He dropped him with a pedigree. That place went fucking insane.
Yeah.
Fast forward to last Monday night, no one gives a shit. They screwed him up putting him with Becky and exposing their relationship because it was just, it was lame. There's no other way to go about it. They're now trying to get him so popular that they're putting him with the Street Profits to try to put him over. They had to go get a tag team from NXT to go try to put Seth Rollins over. That shouldn't happen. And now let's go into his character. This is a guy, I get it. You're ballsy and you want to prove people right. Why the fuck would you limp down to the ring
just to get your ass beat by Brock Lesnar?
And give Brock Lesnar a chair?
It's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yes, Jim Cornette. I don't agree with you on a lot of things, but I agree with you on that, Jim Cornette. And you know what?
It's a goddamn abortion and a disgrace.
It's been pretty bad. Turning face was a big mistake for WWE. Should have stayed as a heel. Couldn't agree more, Mr. AEW. I love him as a heel.
Yes,
but
he's a great heel, but he actually had a chance to be a really cool, almost anti-hero, especially with Moxley leaving. They had a chance, they missed it, and they've just turned him into a bitch.
Yeah, it's just been pretty bad. All right, Seth Rollins checks in at number 100.
So far down the list.
On this week's Benchmark Power Rankings. We move directly to number 5 next.
And this one is directly a shot to Silky. Fucking Goldberg comes in at number 5. And you know why? And look, and I know a lot of you in the chat are probably going to sit there and light me up, but here's the thing. I actually like the way they went about it. There was that brief little second where I thought it really was going to be HBK.
Yeah.
I really did. And I had that moment because Shawn Michaels played it great.
Yeah, he did.
He just sat there silent. And I'm sitting there going like, oh yeah, here it comes. Well, it's not me. I mean, you knew who it was. I just like the way it did it. Goldberg's heading into SummerSlam for a 2.5-minute match. He's gonna squash Ziggler. It's not like he's squashing, Buddy Murphy or, Ali or anybody.
Everybody will get
this Dolph.
Yeah, they'll get to chant Goldberg. They'll get to see the spear and the jackhammer, and everybody will go home happy. So no problem with that. All right, Goldberg checks in at number 5 this week. On to number 4.
Bro. Probably my favorite wrestler going these days. I fucking love Matt Riddle.
He's amazing.
I also, and here's why I'm putting him in number 4, because it's not like he's won a title or had like a big match or anything like that. I appreciate his social media game. I like the fact that he put out a video, I think while watching porn.
He was very much watching porn.
He was watching porn.
In the background.
But I love that he's just like calling these guys out. The line I loved the best was, I'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Because
he
will.
would, because he totally would. Yeah, totally agree.
So, and here's the other thing. This is why Goldberg was at number 5. These guys have been beefing hard. I would love for Goldberg to get the squash match against Ziggler, and then Mania, you bring up Riddle and Goldberg, and Riddle kicks the shit out of Goldberg.
That would be very cool. All right, Matt Riddle, the bro, checks in at number 4 on this week's Benchmark Power Rankings, brought to you by Kyle King. On to number 3.
Your new women's tag team champions, Alexa and Nikki. I had to put them on the list because, again, they actually got the tag team titles. And here's the good part, okay? I've seen the comments today. I know you guys aren't huge on cheerleader Nikki, but here's my thing with it. 1, performers have to be multifaceted. In this day and age, these performers have to sit there and have multiple personalities, multiple sides to them, okay? They can't just be heel their entire life.
True.
So, she has to switch it up a little bit.
Thank you, Jeffrey Cross, for the bits. Appreciate that. Oh, you're going to want to work this in as well.
Oh, yeah.
Too sweet.
Thank you, Jeffrey Cross. Appreciate that. Get that shit out of here. You're talking about Alexa and Nikki.
Okay, fine. But I like the fact that Nikki has this other side to her. It's not my favorite, but I think we all agree that it's heading towards we're going to get Nikki Cross. Like the actual Psycho Nikki. Not only that, you'll cheer more when she becomes the Psycho Nikki.
Totally agree.
Does she not deserve to be a champion? She's damn good. She's actually the best part of this.
Just got to be patient with it.
And here's the other reason they're at number 3. I know TLC says hard no, Kyle, but hear me out. WWE loves them some Alexa Bliss.
Yes, they do.
Those tag team titles are going to be featured. Like B-Mac had asked me last week, do they feel dead? Yes. Now do they? No, because you have new champions and they're on a person that the WWE loves that they're going to feature.
Yeah, that works. All right. Your new women's tag team champs, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, check in at number 3. On to number 2.
Tessa Blanchard, man. I will say this, and I got to give props to Get the Tables. They do the Impact stream.
Impact watch along on Friday nights.
I had never watched Impact before. Like, I've caught some stuff, but I've never sat down and watched an episode. Tessa Blanchard has quickly become one of my favorite performers out there.
She's outstanding.
And the reason she's sitting at number 2, she's had a great match at Triple Mania, where she actually captured the Reina de Reina Championship.
Yep. Won it in a ladder match, and she had a match against Sawyer Fulton, who is fucking ginormous.
Yeah.
And she's had a feud with Sami Callihan over in Impact as well.
And look, I'm liking the feud with Sami Callihan. Like, I know a lot of you guys are sitting there on Friday night talking about, because Sami won. And you guys are going, it should have been Tessa. But you know what? I can totally see with Cage being out, they're speculating, what his future is. Like, is he going to be able to compete? Sami Callihan is going to compete for that title. But I can totally see it being a vacated title and putting Tessa into that match. And then you get Tessa and Sami again, this time for the title. Tessa goes over at Bound for Glory because I'm confident Impact won't fuck this up like WWE would.
Hey, I'll tell you, people are loving this already. Captain Ron says, finally. Jody Mania says, hell yeah, Tessa is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, Kyle, wasn't I touting Tessa last week? Says MJK, gimmick infringement.
I guess.
And you always get the shout out there, Get the Tables. We appreciate you. And also got to send a big thank you to Anonymous, who left a $20 tip in the tip jar.
What?
Thank you very much for the Anonymous tip. We appreciate that. Damn. There can only be one number 1 here in Kyle King's Benchmark Power Rankings. Number 1 this week.
The Fiend. Come on. He's the hottest thing going, I would argue, in professional wrestling right now. Like, look, I know Moxley's kind of been tearing it up when he went to AEW, and he's been doing great in the G1, and his interviews have been really fun. But come on, Bray Wyatt, the way they have actually been handling this is fucking gold. And I'm going to say it right here, okay? I'm going to put it out here for all of you marks out there to fucking realize.
Here it is right now.
If The Fiend loses to Finn Balor at SummerSlam, I'm canceling the fucking network. Okay?
He's that guy. You're
hold
totally
on.
that guy.
I'm
never canceling the network. My guy don't.
I have never once sat there and said that, because I think everybody who does that is bullshit.
All credibility that you just got for these power rankings just got flushed because you're now, I'm canceling my subscription guy.
Again, I didn't hop in on the bandwagon. No, because like when that was going on, I was sitting there going, you're all full of shit. You're going to continue watching. This is a good deal. So I have saved it. I have saved that grenade for this moment.
All right.
WWE, Vince, look at me right here. All right. If you fuck this up, I am canceling my $10. You will no longer get $10 from me a month. All right. And I'm dead serious about
There
it.
it is. There you have it, folks. Right there. Bold prediction from Kyle King. He will, in fact, cancel his WWE Network subscription. All right, folks. A quick recap of this week's Benchmark Power Rankings brought to you by Kyle King. Top 5 wrestlers of the week for the week of August 4th, 2019. Starting out with number 100.
Seth Rollins. He's so bad. Number 5, Goldberg. I'm excited for the match. Let's go. Number 4, the original Bro, my favorite wrestler. I love a guy who decided to leave UFC because all he wanted to do was smoke weed and wrestle. I love that. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, number 3, your new women's tag team champs. Tessa Blanchard, my girl, sitting at number 2. And then number 1, The Fiend and Bray Wyatt. I'm serious. It's so good right now.
It is
the
great.
only thing I will say is I wish they would get away from the lights coming down every time.
They will. I think they will. Once we finally get into a match, they probably will. All right, there you have it, folks. The Benchmark Power Rankings for the first time ever, not brought to you by the Benchmark, from our special guest host, Kyle King. Okay, Kyle didn't fuck this show up, says Captain Ron. Alice says Kyle did an amazing job.
Damn right.
Let's get to some of these comments from earlier. Just going to get to some of these here because there were some good ones, and I want to make sure that I... Matt Riddle's Twitter is on point.
I love his
MJK
Twitter.
says, every time I see Riddle, I see a 21st century Kevin Von Erich. Do you see the same? And
Wow.
listen, I think that's a great comparison.
Yeah.
From the bare feet to just the fact that, I mean, of course he's not going to have the same personality, but as far as wrestling style, I think that's a great comparison.
That is a fantastic comparison.
I think it's
and
very
I love
good.
it.
Captain Ron says Kyle has probably had longer relationships than Goldberg's matches.
That's right.
Seth and Mike Bennett are now at the same embarrassment level, says Bill.
Close. One of them's champion, though.
That's true. A couple matches that we haven't gotten to for the SummerSlam card before we move on to NXT here tonight. Obviously, it'll be great to see The Fiend in action against Finn Balor.
That's the match I'm looking forward to the most, man.
That'll be great. We've also got AJ Styles taking on Ricochet. Again, we've seen this one, but it's hard to argue when you get 2 of the best going in the business today in a match for the U.S. title, so that one should be a lot of fun as well. Stop that shit. And last but certainly least, fucking Shane McMahon against Kevin Owens. I would like to take this opportunity to personally apologize Kevin Owens for having to be the guy that has to put up with Shane McMahon's backyard wrestling horse shit at a major event and not be feuding with somebody of some importance, because this is going to be a turd of a match just like it was last time, and Shane McMahon's going to get way too much run like he has been getting lately, and God bless you, Kevin Owens. Kick the shit out of him because I'm going to enjoy every second.
What do you think the percentage of the odds, if we will, if we were just to put a percentage on it, that Goldberg's match goes longer than KO and Shane? Like, wouldn't you like to just see KO just kick the shit out of Shane?
Oh, I would love to
over
see it
with?
happen, but I don't think it's going to happen.
They did it to Dolph.
Because Shane's Shane's got to get his bullshit in. He's got to do his fucking spot monkey stuff because that's what he does. That's all he's there for, which I still don't understand why you would have him there for it anyway, but whatever. It's going to be a mess. What will happen if The Fiend goes Shockmaster and
won't.
loses his mask in the middle of the match?
No.
It ain't gonna happen.
Oh, goodness. The weed got stronger since the Von Erich, says
true.
Captain Ron. I think Chad Gable looks like Terry Taylor.
Oh
We're
my
just getting
God.
randomness here now on the on the chat here. All right, before we get out of here this evening, let's have a quick look at the NXT TakeOver Toronto card. All the titles will be on the line at NXT TakeOver Toronto, headlined by a 2 out of 3 falls match again from your NXT champion, Adam Cole Bay. There it is, against Johnny Gargano. You've also got the Street Profits defending the NXT Tag Team Championships against the Undisputed Era. Velveteen Dream, your North American champion, in a triple threat match against Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, which should be outstanding. Shayna Baszler once again defends the women's title against Mia Yim. And you've also got Candice LeRae taking on Io Shirai. Now, once again, a very lean card from NXT.
I love that.
You know they're going to give all of these matches plenty of time to breathe. All these performers are going to have a chance to showcase what they can do. Is there any one match, Kyle, that you were looking forward to more so than the others? NXT almost always delivers a solid card from top to bottom, but is there one that stands out in this particular card that you're looking forward to the most?
If I have to pick one,
it's
the
right
North
here.
American Championship.
Yeah, I think that's...
Come on. You're getting a triple threat match between Velveteen Dream, Pete Dunne, and Roderick Strong. Come on. Yes. That's a match that I want to see. And look, I'm very much under the belief that that NXT is going to make the Undisputed Era dripping in gold. I really think they're going to do it.
More than likely.
And it would be fitting because if you look at Raw, you have the OC, who's dripped in gold. You have the New Day on SmackDown, who's dripped in gold. Then you go to NXT, and you would have the Undisputed Era dripped in gold. I think it would be fitting and kind of a way to introduce these factions back. I think it would give a lot of credibility.
Thank you very much, Jody Mania, for the bits there. Yeah, and you could take any two of those guys, Dream, Pete Dunne, and Roderick Strong, put them in a singles match against any of the other guy, and it'd be fantastic. The one thing I'm interested in seeing, and Silky and I talked about this after, I believe it was the last takeover, it might have been 2 takeovers ago, when Velveteen Dream had the match against Matt Riddle. Mm-hmm. And Riddle absolutely outclassed Velveteen Dream in that match. And I don't know how much of that was Dream just having an off night or Riddle just being that much better, because Riddle looked absolutely spectacular in that match, and it looked like Velveteen Dream was lucky to get away with a win there. And I'm interested to see, because we're not going to see Matt Riddle on this card, I'm interested to see what happens with Velveteen Dream. If he has, it almost feels awkward to say a bounce back match, but honestly, the last time we saw him on the big stage, I feel like Riddle really outshined Velveteen Dream. I think he needs to have a good match here.
Look, and I think he will. Again, you're putting him in a match with 2 other really good performers. And this is what I love about NXT. This is why I think this match is going to be better than if it were on the main card. NXT, they go a little faster. They hit a little bit harder. I'm excited to see. And they also let the wrestlers they sit there and go, hey, here's the finish. You guys put everything else together. I love that. Yeah. I think that's going to be a great match. I also think that the Street Profits versus Fish and O'Reilly, that's going to lead off the show, I think.
Yeah.
It should. I mean, hell, look at the last... Almost every takeover that has started with Undisputed Era is a classic. Yeah. Look when they went against Lorcan and Birch. Yeah. And then Mustache Mountain as well. Those guys know how to hype that crowd up and get them into the night, especially when you only have 5 matches.
Yeah. I think they're...
Which one are you looking forward to?
Well, I tell you, I was one of the people, and I was actually, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, but I was surprised that I wasn't one of the few people, it seemed, that felt like the Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano match, especially the third fall, just went way overboard in terms of those fuckers kicked out of everything. That just went on for, there were so many moves, and Johnny Gargano in particular, he fucking kicked out of everything. It was just getting kind of absurd. I hope they don't go that route again, because that's sort of the direction that NXT has gone, in that it feels like they equate the length of the match with the quality of the match. And I don't think that that's always the case. You can have a really, really, really good 10 to 12 minute match. Now, that's not to say I expect to see that on an NXT TakeOver card, because you don't. But it doesn't mean that the matches have to drag on for 45 minutes in order for them to be classics. So I just hope that they don't try to cram too much in there, because, again, yes, we know both of these guys can do a lot of different things, but that doesn't mean they have to do all of them in the same match.
Have they announced the third stipulation? I know that's Regal's. I know NXT was on tonight, and obviously we haven't had a chance to watch it.
Tonight's show.
So maybe somebody in the comments, if they've announced it. But am I the only one? Like, when Gargano announced a street fight, I was like, okay, cool. Was I the only one who was a little disappointed that, like, Adam Cole was just like, we're going to have a wrestling match? And it's like, okay. Anything. I mean, they're going to do a good job.
Don't pick the steel cage, Cole. We don't want to have to build the fucking steel cage. Just don't do that. No,
I fucking hate steel cage matches.
It's just it's gonna depend on what Regal does for the third fall.
Cage matches are so fucking stupid these days because anything can get you a win. Like, I miss the days when a cage match, it was, no, you have to escape this bitch.
You have to get out of the cage, yeah.
Like, that's what was fun about a cage match, watching them actually climb over. Now, then they went ahead and went, okay, well, you can also, like, walk through as well if you want to do that. So you can go over or you can go out. And then they went, well, you know what? You can also get pinned while doing it. Oh, and submitted. So basically, you can win a normal match.
And we're doing rope breaks in cage matches as well.
What fucking sense does that make?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Have I hit my F-word quota for Silky, by
That's
the way?
all right. It's fine. It's fine. So let's do a quick prediction here for NXT, since we only got 5 matches.
Well, hold on. Well, we can do that. I just wanted to bring up another one. I mentioned on Friday.
Yeah,
Ring of Honor. Are you excited at all about this card? Have you heard about what's going to be on
this? I have
this?
no idea what's going on in the Ring of Honor card. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Shit. They've actually got some really good matches. Now, look, for those of you, again, like, if you've never listened to the heel turn, you've only seen me in the chat section, I understand we all have our brands that we like. I understand there are some people who love Impact. Some people love New Japan. I love wrestling. I don't care where it's coming from. As long as it's good, give it to me.
Exactly.
That's all I want. I just want good wrestling. Look at the Ring of Honor card, man. You've got my boy Shane Taylor in a television title match against Tracy Williams. That's going to be fun. Then you've got Matt Taven versus Alex Shelley. That's a good match. I'm very much looking forward to Roosh and Dalton Castle in a no DQ.
Roosh is badass.
Roosh is badass. But here's the other one. There's a ladder wars for the tag team titles between the Briscoes and Tama and Tongaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny. Come on.
That will be very good.
Shit. The Briscoes are highly underrated.
Yeah, the Briscoes are great.
I can't wait to see this. Again, it's 3 weeks, so I'm sorry. We go into NXT. I felt it would be a disservice to a wrestling podcast
of course,
if I didn't talk about the third show that is going on. TLC says too sweet.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that shit. Let's get to our NXT predictions. We want to hear yours in the chat as well. Let's kick off with the only non-title match on the card. Candice LeRae taking on Io Shirai. I've got Shirai in this one.
Yeah.
I think she's too good as a heel, and I think her eating a loss right now would not be a good thing.
Yeah.
You going with Shirai as well?
Yeah, again, it just makes sense that she gets the victory. She's turning heel for the first time. Candice will survive taking a loss on this one. I would hate to see them pull some main roster bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they'll do great. But we both got Shirai going over on that one. All right, the women's championship match, Shayna Baszler taking on Mia Yim.
I think Mia Yim's going to win. I think it's finally look, Baszler's had that title for a long time. Nobody is sitting there doubting Shayna Baszler.
Right.
I think it's also, who does she go through now? You know?
Yeah.
And I would hate to see them redo an Asuka thing where, like, they fake an injury and she's got to give up the title, whatever. I would again, I said it earlier in the show, I would love to see Baszler drop the title and then go on to start some shit with Becky on Raw.
I'm totally over picking against Shayna Baszler. I've been burned by it too many times, and I said it on the last takeover when everybody was convinced that Io Shirai was going to win. I'm like, I'm not picking against Baszler. I'm not picking against Baszler here either. I don't know who's going to beat her. I don't think it's Mia Yim, but at this point, you got to get the belt off for some time, like you say. But I've been burned picking against her in the past. I'm sticking with Shayna Baszler. All right, in the triple threat match for the North American Championship, Velveteen Dream versus Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong.
I think Roderick Strong's going to win. I think somebody other than Velveteen is going to win. Just plain and simple. I don't know if it'll be Pete Dunne. I think it'd be kind of cool if he did, because he had that great run with the UK Championship.
Yep.
But I think it's Roderick Strong's time for singles gold. I mean, look, they had to kind of redo something with him when Fish went down, and they threw Roderick Strong in there as well. Plus, you have that whole, the history between him and Pete Dunne being tag team partners and him screwing him over. I could see Dunne winning. What do you think?
I like that pick. I'm going with Roderick Strong as well.
Yeah.
I think it's, again, Undisputed Era is doing some good things. It looks like those guys aren't necessarily, on the fast track to the main roster, which is not a bad thing at all.
No.
And, I think it's Roddy's time as well. I think that's a good pick. I'm going to go with Roderick Strong myself. Street Profits defending the tag team titles against the Undisputed Era, Fish and O'Reilly.
I'm going Fish and O'Reilly.
Going with Undisputed Era again. Alice has got Roderick Strong winning that match as well. Yeah, I'm with you. I think I hate underselling the Street Profits because they are a pretty damn good tag team, but they've been showing up on Raw, and you got to figure at some point they...
Not only have they been showing up on Raw, they've actually been doing a good job on Raw.
Yeah.
Like, at no point during, when I'm on social media do I see anybody going, oh, get the Street Profits off my TV, like they're, the owners of the company.
Yeah, that's not happening. But, I still think Undisputed Era gets the win. I'm with you there. And the main event, 2 out of 3 falls match between Adam Cole, Bay, and Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. Who you got?
Adam Cole. He's got to win.
Adam Cole to retain?
Yeah, and look, this is nothing against Johnny Gargano. I think he's a phenomenal performer. Just don't care.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I have a hard time caring about Johnny Gargano as well. Something tells me, I can't do it. I got to go with Adam Cole.
Do it.
I got to go with Adam Cole.
No,
I
come
just think
on.
Undisputed Era, again, it makes too much sense. So I'll go with Adam Cole.
It would be really weird, again, if, you know what? Again, we could actually have this really jacked up to where maybe the Undisputed Era loses everything.
Could be.
Wouldn't if it happens that way? If at the end of TakeOver they have nothing, how would you feel? Would you feel like that they've kind of messed them up?
No, not at all. I mean, if either Dream or Pete Dunne wins that title, I don't think that's a big shocker there at all. Street Profits just won the tag title, so I don't think that'd be a big shocker either. And look, Gargano and Cole have gone back and forth a number of times, and Gargano's another one of those guys that's he's been around NXT so long. I don't think anybody looks at that and goes, it's total bullshit that Johnny Gargano won. So no, it wouldn't surprise me, but I still think it's going to go the other way.
I would really like to see Dream lose and then go into an NXT title feud with Adam Cole. I think that's money.
Seems to be the direction that it's going.
Fuck yeah. I mean, come on. Give me that feud all day.
Yeah, it would be very good.
It'd probably be the best feud in that company.
Probably. Alice and Jody Mania both got Adam Cole. If they lose everything, they move up to the main roster, says Jeffrey Cross. Yeah,
I don't think so. I honestly don't think that they move up after SummerSlam. I would like them to. Like I said, I actually would love to have... I would actually love to have them show up during Survivor Series, because I would love for them to incorporate all the stuff going on with Vince and Paul Heyman and all that. So I would actually love to have a Team Vince versus a Team Triple H and bring the Undisputed Era up to be his team.
That would be very cool.
Fuck yeah. Like, I think it would be cool, and have control, have control of WWE on the line. Have the chairmanship on the line.
That'd be pretty sweet as well. All right, folks, getting to be about that time. Want to say thank you very much for joining us here this evening. Going to give a special shout out to all you who dropped the bits, the subs, the follows, the tips tonight. Get the tables. Gifting the sub to Bob Aruski, dropping those bits as well. Thank you to Bill, Jeffrey Cross, and Jody Mania, and Mac Diesel for your bits also. And to Anonymous, our anonymous tipper who tipped.
I think that was MJK. I don't know.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that as well. So once again, folks, if you are brand new to the show, make sure to hit that follow button, turn those notifications on, and you can consider becoming a subscriber with that information that's scrolling down below. And I want to say a special thank you to my guest host tonight from the Heel Turn podcast, Mr. Kyle King. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media, you and BMAC, and where they can listen to the Heel Turn podcast.
Yeah, go ahead and find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kyle King on Air. I'm starting up my own Twitch stream as well, so go ahead and give me a follow over there, twitch.tv/The Kyle King Show. That'll be coming soon. You can find the Heel Turn Podcast on Twitter at the Heel Turn Pod. You can find us on the radio.com app. You can find us on iTunes, so please go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. We would appreciate that. And I gotta say thanks, man. Like, I really appreciate you bringing me on. Like, this is a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Are you coming over for All Out on August 31st?
I will be there.
Okay.
I will be there because All Out will be a good one. So,
come on.
We're not doing this.
Come on.
Too sweet.
Hey.
We're not doing it.
Hold on.
Look, I've done one too sweet in the history of this program, and it was on our 1-year anniversary, just as a shout out to all the good people who were here on the show.
I went this entire time without fucking around with Shane McMahon.
Good for you. You can have a cookie after the show like we talked about.
Come on.
For my good friend Kyle King, Chris Speez here. We are back Monday night, immediately following Monday Night Raw, right here on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. We will see you then. Good night, everybody.